Welcome to Speedy Walkthrough, where we show just the important stuff to beating the game. For first time viewers, this will look different to a normal walkthrough. It'll show just the essentials so you don't need to spend a long time watching this video. Today we're playing Banjo-Kazooie, one of my absolute favourite games, and I'll be showing you how to get not only 100% in this game, but absolutely everything the game has to offer. So this will be including the stop and swap eggs, all the Mumbo tokens, and the bottles bonus puzzles. But the bulk of this video will be just all the jiggies and notes and stuff you really need to 100% the game. Also a little quick note, this walkthrough does apply to both the N64 and the Xbox versions of the game. Main difference is Xbox will save your notes so that if you die in a level you can still keep them. Whereas N64 you've got to collect all 100 notes in each level in one hit, making N64 a little bit harder for this game. Before we get fully stuck into this video, if you do end up finding this useful, please consider subscribing to keep up to date as it helps out the channel a whole bunch. So this is a little intro cutscene to the game. If you've played the game on the cartridge before, you will be able to skip this by pressing start. If not, just watch through. It takes about 3 minutes. Anyway, once you get out into Spiral Mountain, we're going to go straight towards bottles. Now, really important for this game, if you're not interested in the story, you can hold L and R and press B to skip all the text, or almost all the text in the game. So that'll save you a lot of time if you're not interested. Otherwise, just hold A to make it go quicker and read through it. Some text will just work by pressing B, but if you want to skip all the text, you got to hold L and R and then press B at the same time. Bottles will eventually give you the choice. You can press A to learn the moves one by one, or B if you want to just know all the moves from the start. If you want to save yourself some time, hit B and I'll talk about what the moves are throughout the walkthrough, but if it's your first time playing Banjo, it might be worth actually pressing A and learning all the moves. Now for the sake of this walkthrough, I have pressed A, so I'm going to learn the moves from Bottles. This is the one where he teaches you how to jump. So hold A to jump higher, A and then A again to do a flutter, and then hold Z and press A to do a high jump there. And then you can just high jump up to get that honeycomb. Each move has an associated honeycomb to it, so we're going to be getting 6 honeycombs in Spiral Mountain. There we just learn how to climb, so jump up across there, get a honeycomb here. Talk to Bottles again down here. Sorry, there we learn how to climb. Before we learn how to swim, so just get the honeycomb down there. And then just jump up here. Bottles is going to teach you how to attack. So you sort of got 3 attacks. You got the bear punch, which is just where you press B and you'll bear punch the carrot here. You've then got the roll that he's about to teach you, so you run and press B and Banjo does a roll. And then you've got the peck, rat-a-tat-tap is the name of it, so jump and press B. Now if you haven't learned the move from Bottles, there's the honeycomb there, so you just jump and press B on the cauliflower there to get the honeycomb. Here Bottles will teach us Beak Barge, so to use the Beak Barge you just hold Z and press B, and then that goes through these guys. So if you break all 4 you get a honeycomb. Make sure you've got all 6 of those honeycombs before you leave Spiral Mountain. Now that bridge would have been out before, and once you've learned all the moves, Bottles repairs the bridge and you go straight through. Now this cutscene here implies there's like a time limit on the game, but there's no such thing. Just take your time getting through the whole game here. You walk up left to get a Jiggy there, and Jiggies are primarily used to open levels. So this level costs 1 Jiggy to open. You just put the Jiggy in the painting, and then you open Mumbo's Mountain there. So that's one collectible in this game, Jiggies. We saw honeycombs before, and then we get notes as a collectible in this level too. So we're going to get notes here. There's 100 notes in each level. If you're playing on N64, make sure that you've got all 100 notes before you leave a level and before you die. Really important. So ground pound that. Ground pound's a move we just learnt from Bottles there. You want to jump up here to get a Mumbo token and then head back through to Bottles. Here he's going to teach you Talon Trot, so it's holding Z and pressing left on the C buttons. So that's the yellow ones on the controller. And then we get the Jiggy there. Duck in behind here, there's another Mumbo token and some eggs to grab there. Just go through and grab all this. So we've seen a few collectibles here that I haven't talked about. There are Jinjos, like this one on the hill there. Get 5 Jinjos in a level to get a Jiggy. There are 10 Jiggies in each level and 100 notes in each level, by the way. We've been getting Mumbo tokens, and Mumbo will let you transform. There are 116 Mumbo tokens in this game. I'll be getting all of them in this video. I think you only need, I think it's 85 of those Mumbo tokens to actually get through the whole game. So there's really 41 spares if you want. Talk to Bottles here. He's going to teach you how to use eggs. So there are 2 things you can do here with eggs. You can hold Z and press C up to shoot them forward, or you can hold Z and press C down to shoot them behind you. The first application we have of eggs right away, we're going to fight Conga with those. So just head over to your left here, shoot Conga, wait for him to throw the orange, shoot him again, wait for him to throw 2 oranges, shoot him a 3rd time, and you're done. He'll drop a Jiggy. You'll notice before I was jumping onto the pads as well, Conga will throw oranges onto the pads and that spawns a Jiggy. There was a 3rd Jiggy in this area which was Chimpy. Now, I hit the witch switch there. What the witch switch does is it spawns a Jiggy in the lair outside the level. So, as with each level having 10 Jiggies in it, Grunty's lair, the hub world, has 10 Jiggies in it too. We got one of the Jiggies before, right when we walked in Grunty's lair, and the other 9 Jiggies come from the 9 levels, from the 9 witch switches. Grab that Jinjo, swim under here. Here, you can do a little cheeky jump there to get out, and just jump up this hill and grab these notes. There's another Jiggy on this hill as well, just be aware of that. And make sure you got all the notes on this hill here. I will talk through this walkthrough about like easy sets of notes to miss. So just be aware of those as they come up. You want to break all these huts. It's not each hut has a particular thing in it. It's like the 5th hut here, for example, always have an extra life. The 6th hut always has a Jiggy, just stuff like that. Shoot eggs into Juju here. Do not shoot the last Juju. Just jump on top of it and then shoot it out. You'll see that when I jumped on top of it, I got a honeycomb there. That's why you don't shoot the last one. Alright, into here, we're going to transform. Now, Mumbo tokens for this level. You need 5 to transform. There are only 5 in the level. First Mumbo token was near the start of the level behind the pink Jinjo. Second one was inside Ticker's tower. Third one was behind the Stonehenge bit. Fourth one was near Conga. And 5th one is just under the bridge leading into Mumbo. Make sure you got all 5 there. If you couldn't find all 5 in this level, basically what you want to do is come back once you got 5 and turn into the termite. But it's a really good idea to turn into the termite now, because the last 6 notes in the level are locked behind the termite, and otherwise you're going to have to come back into this level later and grab all the notes. Now, I left a whole bunch of Jiggies there to grab as a termite, mainly just because it's a bit faster than watching Banjo do the little dance every time. Termite needs to climb up here, and you can grab these notes here. If you're playing on the original N64 version of this game, you can skip having the termite because of the slope time of the way that works. But most versions of the game you'll play on, like the later N64 versions or the Xbox version, you can't do that very easily. So grab the Jiggy there, grab the honeycomb on your way back down, and then make your way out the level. You need to bring the termite out of the level here to grab the witch switch Jiggy. So just come out here and then climb up Mumbo's mountain with the termite. This is slippery slopes on Mumbo's mountain there, so you need the termite to get up it, and there we go. I find it a bit weird, Mumbo's mountain. You need Talontrot to get up some slopes and then the termite to get up others. It's weird that they introduced those 2 concepts in the same level, but there you go. Alright, so climbing up, we got the 50 note door here. Just jump towards that note door, and then you'll be able to open it up. Now, in this next room, you'll come across somebody called Brentilda to your left. She's like the pink fairy looking person. I recommend talking to Brentilda and writing down all 3 answers she gives you. The other thing we're going to do is just grab the Mumbo token behind that cauldron there. Brentilda you would have seen on the corner of the screen there. So that's all that you can do in here. You grab the Mumbo token, you open the puzzle, and you talk to Brentilda. It might be weird why you're writing down the answers that Brentilda gives you, but it'll become very clear later on when we get to Furnace Fun, which is the quiz minigame at the end of the game. Alright, here we're going to go into Treasure Trove Cove, so jump down here. And then we can sort of jump into Treasure Trove Cove. It's our 2nd level. So as with each level, make sure you get all 100 notes before you leave. You should always be able to do that if you do the levels in the same order I'm going to do them here. Alright, making our way through. We can just jump up this tree here. And talk to Bottles. Bottles is going to teach us Shock Spring here, which are those green pads. Basically, yeah, you can just do a very, very high jump by holding A on those green pads here. Next thing we're going to do is poop eggs into Leaky. Leaky is going to empty the sandcastle water for us. Now, this sandcastle has a few different uses. You'll see there's one Jiggy right away in there that we can get by spelling Banjo-Kazooie on the sandcastle floor. So here we go. We're just going to spell that. Banjo-Kazooie. If you're not sure how to spell it, it is written on the wall of this room. I remember as a kid trying to do this, and I was reading the cartridge in the N64 to see how it was spelt, and my brother was actually typing it, and I was like reading out the letters. Good times. Anyway, grab the Jiggy there. The other purpose of this sandcastle is entering cheats. Now, you might be wondering, why would I enter cheats? The reason is for the stop and swap eggs. So this bit that I'm about to do is entirely optional. But if you want to get sort of maximum % in this game, you want to enter the stop and swap egg cheats to open up all the stop and swap areas. That's the only way to get the stop and swap eggs. These are sort of like a leftover beta feature of the game, the stop and swap eggs, but the cheats are still left in the game and you can still get the eggs. They literally do not do anything. So if you don't want to enter these cheats and spend like 15 minutes doing this, don't bother doing it. But I am going to do it now. Alright, so I'm just going to leave those cheats up on screen for the stop and swap eggs there. So you have to enter the word cheat before, and you'll hear like a cow moo when you do that. And when you finish the cheat, if you've done it correctly, what should happen is you get a little picture of where the stop and swap egg is going to be when it opens up. Alright, so that first one that I've just entered is the cellar one, and that shows the cyan egg. And I'm just going to go through and enter all the rest. I won't bother showing this entire thing, but just if you want all the stop and swap eggs, enter all of these. Remember, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Now, if you want, here's a list of literally all the cheats in the game. There it is. There's a few more. They do various things like open levels and note doors and stuff, and some literally just do things that you can peck open, but they're really often not worth actually entering all the cheats in the game, because cheats take like a minute and a half to enter each. Just be aware, Grunty will only let you enter up to 3 like level opening cheats before she deletes your save file, and she is not joking, she actually does delete your save file, and Xbox is even more locked down than N64 in terms of cheats. Something that might be good is like an energy bar to get you far, or give the bear lots of air. Give the bear lots of air might be probably the most useful one. It lets you never drown. Also, don't be a Dumbo, go see Mumbo is good. That basically gives you infinite Mumbo tokens. I can tell you already that entering any of the note door cheats are completely useless, because there's no cheat for the last note door, and you need 810 notes to get through that. So the note doors don't take your notes, they're cumulative, so don't bother entering any of those. At any rate, these cheats are much less useful than the ones in Banjo-Tooie, so I probably wouldn't recommend using any unless you want to get the stop and swap eggs. Anyway, after about 15 minutes of entering cheats, I've got all the stop and swap ones in, so we'll leave the sandcastle. I'm just going to go and get that first stop and swap egg now. It's in Shark Food Island, and you just go up here and go up this platform here. Reminder, the stop and swap eggs don't really do anything. It's just a cool little quirk that you can do in this game. It was left over from development. I think they were planned, but they took it out of the game. Anyway, back to the actual normal 100% of the game. So we're just going to make our way back from this sandcastle here, climb up, and go into Blubber's ship. Blubber's lost 2 pieces of gold, so we need to go and get them from underwater. That's the first one there. And you might want to grab these tree notes here as well. And then we'll talk to Bottles to learn flying. After talking to Bottles, you want to grab our Mumbo token, which is underneath there. Fall through, and then there's the second piece of gold under the water here. So we'll just grab that. And then you can talk to Blubber. Blubber will be excited that you returned his treasure, and he'll give you a Jiggy for that. Head back up here. We're going to grab a Jinjo up there. Grab this singular note up here, and grab the Jiggy up here. Then what we're going to do is fly up here to grab this Jinjo, and up on top of the lighthouse to grab that. Work your way back down through the lighthouse. There's a Mumbo token, there's a Witch Switch. Jump off here to grab 3 notes, and you can jump down here. Now, I just did a little trick there to avoid ever taking full damage in this game. So, if you ground pound on an edge, and in the recoil animation, you come off, you are invincible during that. So you will never take damage from any enemies or full damage if you're in the ground pound recoil animation. Some old cheat sites used to say just ground pound off the edge straight up, and that will definitely make you take damage. So just be aware of that. It is the bounce back recoil animation in which you're invincible. You can also use this in the fight at the end of the game to avoid Grunty's homing projectiles. Anyway, make your way back up through, grabbing tokens as we go across, and notes up here. There's a little Jiggy down the bottom of this lake, and then there should be a second lake that has a Mumbo token down the bottom. There we go. We're going to fly up on this fly pad, hitting the X's as we go. That'll be used for a Jiggy later. Grab this Jiggy down here, and then grab the honeycomb across here. There we go. Alright, next we're going to deal with Nipper. So Nipper basically just is going to try and get you, and then wait till his claws open, and then go and peck him. If you got gold feathers from the next level, you can use those, but pecks are pretty easy to deal with anyway. Alright, once Nipper is done, we're just going to head out of there, and onto this shock spring pad here. Grabbing notes along the way, hitting the X's along the way, and the next X should be right there. Fly up there, and then we should be able to get these 3 notes, and a Jiggy up the top. There's our Jiggy. You can jump back down, grab the Jinjo, and the Jinjo drops a Jiggy because that's the last Jinjo on the level. Progress your way forward, hit the X. Where is the last X going to be? What a mystery. Well, it's just over here basically. So don't forget to grab that honeycomb I just got. That's very hard to see on N64 because the honeycomb doesn't spawn. On Xbox you can see it from heaps far away because the draw distance is further. And then you're done in Treasure Trove Cove. Make sure for each level you've got 100 notes, 10 Jiggies, and 2 honeycombs before you leave. You can check that on the total screen in the pause menu. So go through here, grab the cauldron, jump out. Now we're going to go and open Clanker's Cavern. We couldn't open this before because we didn't have the shock spring pad unlocked, but now we can just go and open Clanker's right away. Alright, so jumping in, we are going into Clanker's Cavern. Hit that switch down to your left, that'll raise the platforms to get there, and there's a Mumbo token on top of the Clanker's Cavern entrance. Alright, next we're going to grab that Mumbo token. If you can't make that jump up to that section, what you can do is make your way back down around. There's a little pole you can climb up and get up here. But anyway, make your way down to Clanker. Remember, if you're having trouble in this level, you can use the cheat, give the bear lots of air, and you won't run out of air while you're swimming. Down here, there's a Ginger to grab and a few notes. There's also Gloop swimming around who will drop air bubbles. I would recommend, if you're first time playing this game, hang out by Gloop, get as many air bubbles as you can to deal with that. Now, about swimming and flying. Hold the R button. Do not let it go whenever you're swimming and flying. If you hold the R button, Banjo will turn a lot sharper and you're going to have a much easier time swimming and flying. Next, we're just going to go down to get that Mumbo token. We also got the Ginger. The other thing I mentioned about swimming, there's a fast swim and a slow swim. The fast swim, you use the B button. The slow swim, you use the A button. And you can just hold those buttons. You don't need to just mash B to swim. You just hold the B button. Alright, make your way into Clanker's Teeth. Get these notes. Head around. Next up we have Rings Jiggy, so you just jump through those in the timer. Shouldn't be too hard to get this under the time limit, just follow the same movement I'm following through the rings. A couple tries you should be able to get it. The water will raise up, and that spawns a Jiggy. We're just going to jump up and grab that Jiggy now. Heading out, we're going to head in here, grab these notes through this section, and up onto Clanker's back. Now we're going to fall into here, slam the witch switch, that raises the eyes, and then we're going to grab this Jiggy. Heading through here, we're going to grab that gold feather on the way through. Bottles is going to teach us how to use gold feathers. So it's like Talon Trot, you hold Z, but you press C right instead of C left. You gold feathers through these fans blades. Now, if you run out of gold feathers here, if you're standing on sort of the seam where Banjo's standing now, the fans will never hit you. They'll only hit you if you go into the middle. So keep that in mind if you get stuck. Anyway, moving on. So we just go back through here, grab the notes in Clanker's other set of gills, jump down here, grab the Ginger, and swim back up, and we're done. Alright, onto Clanker again. We're going to ride the bolt up instead of falling through it. Grab that Jiggy there, and onto Clanker's fin. We can just jump up here and grab 4 notes and a token. After that, we're going to jump back up onto the fin, go left to grab a Ginger inside here. That Ginger dropped a Jiggy, we'll just get that. And there's a Honeycomb down in this bit, so fall through that, you'll get the Honeycomb. Should have 5 Honeycombs at this point. Anyway, there we go. We're going to grab the Jiggy there and then jump and grab these notes. We're going to fall down here into snippets. So here, ground pound the first 2 and then ground pound the second 2. They should spawn a Jiggy. There we go. And we just grab the last 4 notes through here. Alright, a few more things we need to get. So we need to get the Jiggy in this little bit here. Make sure you have lots of air before you go into this pipe, because otherwise you might die. It might be worth making sure you got 100 notes before you do any of this as well. And then head up here. There's a little honeycomb in this bit. And remember, we still haven't got all the notes, so make sure you don't drown or anything. Jump up here to grab the last couple notes. And then on the way out of Clanker's Cavern, there's just going to be 4 notes towards the exit. I'd probably recommend grabbing these 4 notes at the start of the level rather than the end, just because in case you die, at least then you're going to have those 4 notes. Alright, hit that switch to raise up the pipe, and then we're going to head through the pipe. There's another Brentilda here. Talk to her and write down the answers she gives you somewhere safe. You will need them later. Go up through here. And we open Bubblegloop Swamp. Alright, so into here. Just going to exit through this section. Alright, open the 180 note door, and we're just going to head further on through the lair. And we're into the Bubblegloop Swamp lobby here. Alright, now you can get through this bit. Just jump left to right and you won't actually slip off of this section. And we can open Freezeasy Peak there. Once you've done that, you want to break this ice block there. One other thing I'm going to be showing you for maximum percentage is getting all the Cheetos. So that's another optional thing you can do in this game if you want to. But breaking that ice block is the first step to getting the Cheetos. Talk to Bottles here, he'll teach you how to use wading boots. Alright, we get our waiting boots. We can jump and get the Jinjo and the Mumbo token behind the Jinjo here. Grab the notes across here, get more waiting boots. Waiting boots can bring you across to these notes here. It is pretty quick if you just want to jump through the swamp water and take damage anyway, but I was trying not to take damage here in this playthrough. Go back through, grab the Mumbo token, and then hit that switch. That'll spawn the Jiggy. You got a bit of time to grab that Jiggy. I'm going to do all sorts of things on the way to the Jiggy, but if you're having trouble with the timer, obviously just run straight towards the Jiggy. You'll notice that I'm shooting eggs into the Croctus things, and they're going to spawn around the level. That pretty much dictates the path that you go. Try and come in here with a lot of gold feathers, because gold feathers make the Flibbits fight there a lot easier. Also, the Crocodile makes it kind of easy as well, if you want to use the Crocodile later on. Hit the Witch Switch to break Grunty's hat, and then jump up here. Get the Croctus, and jump up there to get a Jiggy. There's also another token to grab on the way down. There we go. And then we're going to fall down here. Heading up across. Basically, we've got waiting boots there that we'll bring across to these notes here and jump up on top of this little, I don't know, cotton bud Q-tip looking thing, and then you get the Jinjo and the notes. I'm going to get more gold feathers there because I'm extremely low, and then I'm just going to hit that Croctus there, make our way back. So really, the Croctuses determine the path you take through this level. So this is the last one here. It drops a Jiggy. Then you might want to go and get the waiting boots, grab that Jinjo. You can just jump into the Jinjo if you got enough health though. Alright, that guy drops a Jiggy, so then we're going to go back here. Tipped up, we'll do the choir. Now, your pattern's going to be different than my pattern, so you just go through and you hit the turtles in the same pattern they're coming up in. There we go. And then after 3 rounds of this, you're going to get a Jiggy from that. There we go. Alright, grab some notes on your way out. And then we're going to make our way through here. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go through the maze and grab the waiting boots so that you don't get hurt in the little piranha water thing. Keep going through with your waiting boots. And spawn the Jiggy there. You've only got 10 seconds. My advice, don't try and walk across thin platforms like that. Actually do jump and use Banjo's shadow to determine whether you're going to land. There's a sneaky honeycomb in here. Grab it at the top. I didn't mention it at the time, but hopefully you saw it. In the Tip-Top choir area, there's also another honeycomb above Tip-Top, so where that music podium thing is. You want to talk to Mr. Vile here. Now, this Mr. Vile fight has a lot of technique to it. Mr. Vile rubber bands is the short thing. So basically, you don't want to just zoom ahead and get everything you can right at the start, because Mr. Vile will speed up if you do that, and he will start chomping through those Yumblies very, very quickly. What you want to do is wait a little bit at the start. And you saw me go and get a bunch of notes and feathers and stuff while I was waiting at the start, just to kill time. Then only once you get about halfway through, you really want to go ham and just like go as hard as you can. Now, if you're having trouble with Mr. Vile, which you probably will because it's not easy, you can wait until you have the speed shoes. See the speed shoes up the back there? You wait until you have those from a future level and come back to Mr. Vile for that. Although I'm just going to do Mr. Vile now, so I don't need to come back to Bubblegloop Swamp later. 3 rounds and you take care of him. With that 3rd round, there's a bit of a technique as well. It changes from red to yellow, the ones you have to eat, and that will change every 10 seconds. So you can look at the timer there to determine like when it's going to change rather than trying to guess when it's going to change. And in the 2nd round of Mr. Vile, you're just supposed to eat the red one, so that's pretty straightforward. Alright, now we've got all the things with the croc. Again, make sure you got all 100 notes before you leave the level, otherwise you'll have to get them again when you come back. Now, if you want to do sort of max % in this game, take the croc back here and talk to the Cheato here. I'm just doing this because it's something you can do in the game. So the Cheato will give you the cheat, and the cheat here is going to be to get more eggs. So all you need to do there is enter blue eggs. That'll let you carry 200 eggs rather than 100 eggs. So yeah, pretty useful stuff. But remember, you don't actually have to go and see Cheato there to get normal 100%. I'm just showing you everything you can do in this game. Alright, now that we're done with Bubblegloop Swamp, we're heading out. There's a Brentilda behind that statue. Make sure you talk to her, write down the answers. Should have 400 notes at this point. Go into this door onto the left, spawn the shock spring pad, come back out, and you can actually ride that shock spring pad up into the vase and fall through. If Grunty's hat is still there, it means you didn't hit the witch switch in Bubblegloop Swamp, so you got to hit that to open Grunty's hat. Go up through here, break the webs. You're going to spawn the cauldrons here. That'll be a shortcut through the lair. You can get back and forth using this. Alright. So, Freezeasy Peak. going in here. I'm going to grab the present out of that section. And I'm going to talk to Bottles to learn Beak Bomb. So this is the second to last move in the game. Now we have a little bit of an awkward situation with these levels. Level 5, which I'm in now, needs a move from level 6. And level 6 needs a move from level 5. You're going to have to do some backtracking. So what I'm doing, I just went and learnt Bottles' move there. And I'm going to go into the igloo and turn in those 3 presents that I got. I got a couple Jiggies here, a couple Mumbo Tokens. But that's all I'm going to do in this level now. So we're not going to get all 100 notes. But I will come back to that level a little bit later once I have the move from level 6 that I need. Anyway, this is the puzzle to open level 6. So it's Gobi's Valley. So just jump into there. Jump out the door. Head back down through this section. And grab the Mumbo token behind there. You got wading boots in this to help you get across the sand without taking damage. I would recommend these. There's a Brentilda behind Gobi's Valley. Make sure you talk to her. Write down the answers you get. Alright. Grab the footnotes. Go down here. Grab the notes around the side. There's a Mumbo token up on the nose. And you want to shoot eggs into Jinxie's nose. Shooting eggs into his nose is something I never figured out as a kid, so we only ever had, like, not all 900 notes, like 890 or whatever, and we never got this Jiggy inside Jinxie. Anyway. Grab the token there, and head out. You're going to get into flying here, and we go to rings. These rings pop up in random spots, so you'll probably get a different pattern to what I'm getting, but I'm just going around and flying through all the rings. They will pop up. They only have, like, determined spots they can pop up in. You'll just get these all in a random order, that's all. So get through all the rings, and the Jiggy should spawn on top of Jinxie there. Grab the Jiggy, and you want a Beak Bomb. So that Beak Bomb that I just did, that's why you need the move from Freezeasy Peak. Alright, heading in here. Grabbing all the notes. There should be 8 notes in that room in total. Talk to Bottles, and you're going to get Speed Shoes, and now we have all the moves in the entire game learnt. Alright, so with Wading Boots, we're just going to bring these down into these sand notes here. You'll see Grabber there spawn. Grabber needs Speed Shoes to get, so you got to get Speed Shoes. And I'm grabbing a few notes on the way here, it's a little bit cheeky. But I'm going to get Speed Shoes, and I'm going to head down to... Oh, I'm not going to head down to Grabber yet, my bad. I'm going to grab Speed Shoes and head up to this little switch here. You can just go onto the switch and make your way up the thing. But basically, hit the switch with Speed Shoes. It should start a timer and you get into the roof bit here. It drains the water. I'm also going to use Speed Shoes to go over here and get Gobi's Jiggy. So you just ground pound on that. And then behind this area, there's a Ginger and a Honeycomb switch that you need to hit. That spawns a Honeycomb there. And then with this bit here, you basically just use memory. Now, the memory is always in the exact same order, so you can just look at what I'm doing here and hit the blocks in the same order here. The ones that I like are the Gingos in the top right. Those two are really easy to remember. And most of the memory things are connected by the shape that like a knight would make on a chessboard, if that helps. There's like a pair, like a triple pair like that are connected in that shape. Alright, shoot eggs into all 3 of those. And you're going to spawn that little pyramid bit there. Now I'm going to go down and actually ground pound Gobi. That Gobi there will only spawn if you broke his rock earlier. And then that spawns a 3rd Gobi, who's going to be sort of up near the stop and swap egg. But we'll get that a bit later. There we go. Gobi here. Ground pound him for a Honeycomb. I'll get that Honeycomb later. Now, this door will only be open if you entered the cheat codes from before. That is the next stop and swap egg. That's a blue one. So, jumping back here, we're going to go up these stairs and we're going to get into the maze. I'd leave this maze till last because... or maybe do it first even, because you will die if you don't get it in time. Go over there, hit the witch switch. By the way, you don't actually need to hit that witch switch. So if you're nervous about the maze, don't hit it. And I'll tell you how you can get the Jiggy later without the witch switch. But anyway... grab all the bits in the pots. Do not forget to get those. Swim around, get all the notes in the water. There we go. That should be 100 at this point now. And then we're done with that little bit. Next, we're going to get the grabber Jiggy. So speed shoes there. Just grab the Jiggy off of grabber. You can get the grabber Jiggy by beak bombing into the Jiggy, but that's like way harder than just using the speed shoes. Then the last little bit, there's a Jinjo just behind the starting point. So I'm going to grab that Jiggy there. Should be all the Jiggies and all the notes. And Gobi Valley is done. Alright, next thing. We're going to shock spring up to get that Jiggy. Now, that Jiggy in the sarcophagus there, if you didn't hit the witch switch, there's a way you can get it. So, basically, if you shock spring up here and you hadn't hit the witch switch, the sarcophagus won't be open yet. What you can do is land on the nose of the dude, and then basically sort of at his eyes, you can just roll into it and you should get the Jiggy. Or if you're on the Xbox version, you have to fire an egg into it and then you get the Jiggy. That just basically extends Banjo's hitbox enough to get the Jiggy. I think the other way you can get the Jiggy without opening it is by jumping on top of the sarcophagus and just ground pounding into it. That should get you the Jiggy. But basically, if you fluff around there enough trying to touch the very top of the sarcophagus, you should get the Jiggy without hitting the witch switch, and that will make the maze a little bit easier. Alright, moving up the stairs, we're going to go back into Freezeasy Peak now. So now that we have the running shoes, we can do 100% off Freezeasy Peak, because we need running shoes to get one of the Jiggies in here. Hit this. There's a way to totally cheese this minigame. I'm not going to do it here, but basically, as the minigame starts, if you hit just the first enemy and then just run at the present and jump all the way to the back of the present so the camera isn't looking at them, no more of the enemies will actually spawn. So that's a really easy way to do it. Shoot 3 eggs into the switch. Jump up on this fly pad here, and you want to go through the star 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That'll spawn a Jiggy inside the tree. We'll get that a bit later. Now with the buttons, just hit all 3 buttons. That spawns a Jiggy down there, and then we're going to go into the tree. Go all the way up, and you're going to get Jiggy. This is a good spot to replenish your eggs, feathers, and notes, so you can do that if you want to. Jump down. Then we'll fly up again. Now you got to hit all the snowmen. This Jiggy is kind of cryptic. You do have to kill all the snowmen in order to get the Jiggy here. There's a Mumbo token up there that I grabbed out of the air. And the Jiggy spawns. Next thing we're going to do is go into Mumbo's skull. So here we go. I'm going to turn into the Walrus. Grab the notes here. Grab the honeycomb. Go up here and we get to our first boggy race. So Boggy won't spawn unless you've freed him near the start of the level. And to do that, you just got to go up on top of the snowman and hit the sled object. That'll ride down and hit Boggy. So just be aware that's how you get Boggy to spawn here for the race. So Boggy has 3 Gs really. One for the start of the level, hitting him in the stomach. Another one you can get just by doing this Walrus race here. And then there's a round 2 against Boggy where you have to beat Banjo. So most levels where we get a transformation, we'll just end the level on the transformation. But in this level, we have to actually come back to Banjo before leaving Freezeasy Peak. And the Banjo buggy race is what we need running shoes for. So just go in here to grab the honeycomb there. The Walrus needs to grab that honeycomb. You can get it as Banjo, but you'll take a lot of damage and also be stuck in with the honeycomb. So Walrus makes it a bit easier to grab there. Now we're just going to go back and transform back into Banjo. There we go. We're now Banjo again. Grab the wading boots, head around. A couple gold feathers there you can grab if you'd like to. And just make your way up the scarf. And around both sides of the scarf, and also grab that Jinjo. There's a Jiggy in the pipe there, make sure you grab that if you haven't got it yet. And this Jiggy on the top will only spawn if you killed all the snowmen. So that's how you get that one there. Fly up. We can go down to Boggy. And just grab these extra notes near him. He's going to want to race us here, so you got to press A there. Don't skip Boggy's text, otherwise he won't actually race you. Grab the notes. If you can't grab those footnotes during the race, what you can do is just go and grab them outside the race. I just like to grab them in the race because it saves a bit more backtracking around the level. Alright, you should be able to have 100 notes very soon. So grab this Jiggy here. It's Jiggy number 9. You want to go up here. That Jinjo will spawn a Jiggy. We'll also grab the ice key. So that ice key door will not be open unless you enter those stop and swap cheat codes. And remember, the ice key is just completely optional in the game. You don't actually need to do it. We're going to hit the witch switch. Now, again, that witch switch there, you actually don't need to hit necessarily. There was a token that I just grabbed there with that honeycomb too. So if you didn't hit the witch switch, I will tell you a way to actually get that Jiggy later, but we're not even going to get the witch switch Jiggy yet. Go up through the 450 note door. You want to swim through here. The water, you will notice, is quite low in this room, and the water will be raised up eventually. So this room has a lot of like complex lair progression stuff going on in there. Anyway, make your way up through here. And open Mad Monster Mansion. There's another token just next to it here. There it is. And head down. There we go. And making your way just back out through this section. It's a bit of a tedious little lair section here going through all that water. You want to trigger the blue cauldron there. That's going to open up a shortcut later on. You know, say his little ground pound trick to get down there without taking damage as well. Before you go into Mad Monster Mansion, make sure that you break this gate. That is really important that you do that. Anyway, go into Mad Monster Mansion and jump up here. You got to break those windows. I just pooped an egg into it. So I might actually go back and show that. Yeah, that window with the glowing light coming out of it, make sure that you break that as Banjo. And there's another one on the other side that you definitely need to break. So I just pooped an egg into it to break it. Really important. Otherwise, you won't 100% this level. Well, you'll have to do a lot of backtracking. Alright. Now, this room... Well, I just got to stop and swap egg. The other thing about this room is there's like a little glitch with how the Mumbo tokens work in this game. So you'll notice that I went into this room and I spawned a Mumbo token. Well, not spawned, but I looked at a Mumbo token. So the Mumbo token is in that little barrel there. I am not going to get the Mumbo token. So the weird thing about this game is there is 115 Mumbo tokens that you can get normally, but there's actually 116 because this Mumbo token and a second Mumbo token in this level are like tied together. The only way to get both of them is by coming into this room first and not grabbing the Mumbo token. So that way this Mumbo token sort of like loads into memory. And then you need to grab the second one in the pair of those Mumbo tokens and then come back and get this one, which will still be loaded. If you leave the level or die or something, then as soon as you grab one Mumbo token and you like re-enter the level, both of them will disappear. So it's like a weird extra Mumbo token that you can get. But if you want to get all 116 in the game, leave this one for now. Do not get it. But make sure you've come into this room and like looked at the Mumbo token before. I don't think you have to look at the token, but you have to come into the room before. Anyway, the second Mumbo token in that pair is just in the toilet here, but we can't actually get it yet. Anyway, there's a stop and swap egg on top of that toilet. That'll only be there if you use the cheat. Here, there's Mumbo token behind the notes there. And by the way, like you don't need to get all the Mumbo tokens in the game. This is purely optional. You can skip 41 and still be okay. Alright, there's a Mumbo token in the little fire there. And Nappa has a Jiggy. So if you try and get this Jiggy normally, you will like step on the floorboards and wake up Nappa. You got to come through the chimney and make sure you don't hit the floor. Next we've got the maze. So you just gold for those ghosts to kill them, get the notes throughout the maze, Mumbo token, etc. Jinjos, notes, all the good things. And make your way out. We're going to get the Pots Jiggy with the infamous voice clip on there as well. There we go. More pots. There's a Mumbo token behind the grave there. That one's very easy to miss. There we go. And that's going to spawn a Jiggy there. Next we'll go up onto the church roof. And jump down to Mumbo there. And across here, there's a Mumbo token behind there. Very easy to miss. Alright, you guys spell Banjo-Kazooie. I'm noticing a trend with these Jiggies a little bit. This room is going to be very easy to die in because a lot of stuff in here does 2 damage to you. So just be aware of that as you're playing through it. Alright. Mumbo token there. Break the gate. Another Mumbo token there. MMM has a lot of Mumbo tokens. You can gold feather or like egg that to get the Mumbo token. If you hit the ground there, you will take damage in the water. I don't exactly know why. I think the lights are supposed to burn you maybe. Anyway, take the speed shoes to get into the church. Oh, another little thing with this game. If there's ever timers on the screen, like that church one, for example, you can just pause and unpause the game really quickly while you're running, and the timer will run slower. So it gives you like more time to make it. That doesn't work on Xbox, only N64. But if you're struggling on this game, use that little timer trick and it'll help a lot. Some it doesn't work on, like Gobi's Valley Pyramid Door, but most of the timers it will work on. Anyway, mode sand there, you just hit the notes in the same pattern that he hit them in and make your way up. Hit the witch switch, and there should be another honeycomb up here to grab as well. So you just go through and grab that honeycomb. There we go. You can gold feather or use the ground pound trick to get down there without taking any damage. Grab the 2 notes on the way out, and you're done. Alright, into Mumbo's skull. I got the little Easter egg there where Mumbo tries to turn you into a T-Rex. I think it's like a 1 in 40 chance that he does that. He doesn't succeed, but funny thing is in Banjo-Tooie, he does actually turn you into a T-Rex properly. Or Wumbo does, at least. So, here, go through the 2 windows. So one window had a honeycomb, the other toilet. This Mumbo token right there is the other one in that pair that I was talking about before that's sort of glitched. So, now that we've got that Mumbo token, if we leave the level and come back, the Mumbo token in the cellar will be gone. But since we've already loaded that Mumbo token in the cellar into memory, it's still sitting there right now. So before we leave the level, it's really important that we go and get that Mumbo token. Otherwise, we'll never be able to get it on this save file. Again, like, you don't need all the Mumbo tokens, but if you want to do, like, max percent, you need to do that. 116 tokens in the game. Alright. Into here, grab the token. And then we'll just head out. Alright, grab those 2 notes. Grab those 2 notes. The well, you can do with Banjo completely, but it's a lot easier to do with the pumpkin, because you imagine doing this with Banjo swimming physics, it's not nice. Anyway, we got everything, so now we're out the level. And you might remember before I said you really need to break the gate, this is why. The pumpkin needs to go through this gate, and if you hadn't broken it with Banjo, you're stuck, and then you have to go and turn back into Banjo, break the gate, turn back into the pumpkin. Anyway, this is how you raise the water level in the game, so you just got to break the switch here. And then turn back into the pumpkin to leave. Pretty cryptic to get through the lair, really. Anyway, literally cryptic, because that room's called the crypt. Now, I'm going to get an optional Cheato thing here, so if you go across this path as the pumpkin, there's a Brentilda there, by the way. Talk to her, write down the answers. Cheato here will give you the red feathers cheat. By the way, those cheats don't actually work unless you've talked to Cheato. All the other cheats in the game work, you've just got to say the word cheat before entering them. Alright, out of here is Banjo. And we're getting towards the end of the game. So basically, grab a token up there. This is another one of those timers that you can just quickly pause and unpause if you're running out of time. There's a Jiggy there in Grunty's eye. Try not to land when you're grabbing it. Otherwise you have to get the fly pad again. Now, this Freezeasy Peak Jiggy that was in there with the fly pad, if you didn't press the switch in Freezeasy Peak to open this bit of the advent calendar, you can just beak bomb straight into this section of the advent calendar and you'll get the Jiggy. You can tell where it is because it's got like a little outline thing of it. And if you just beak bomb in there, Banjo grabs it. You never have to hit the witch switch for Freezeasy Peak. So just be aware of that. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is head up and you'll notice the water level's actually raised in this room now. Before it was a lot lower. And we can actually make our way to Rusty Bucket Bay. I'm going to do a little cheeky max percent here. It's a little bit weird, this. I'm going to go and break a little grate on the edge of this room here. So the grate lives just there. You can only break this grate right now at this point in the game. So where the water level is exactly where it is right now. So I'm just going to do that for completeness sake. If you look at your childhood save file, if you played this game, I can almost guarantee that grate won't be broken. And that grate will be underwater, meaning that you'll never be able to break it. Yeah, just a weird little quirk of this game. Anyway, you can go up here to do the Rusty Bucket Bay puzzle. And then you can leave this room. And the thing that I was saying about the grate there is we're about to raise the water level even more in this section after Rusty Bucket Bay. So that grate will be underwater. You'll never be able to break it. Kind of a weird little quirk. Anyway, if you don't want to break the grate, you can just raise the water and go into the Rusty Bucket Bay puzzle room anyway. Alright, toll 2, you've got to hit 2 eggs into it. Shoot another 4 in there to get the bridge out quicker. It's a little cool feature of those toll gates. Flutter back to get the Jiggy, get 4 notes in here, make your way out. Next up we have Snorkel, so we got to go in here, run past all these fellas, or kill them, or whatever you want to do, hit the anchor. Snorkel will get saved from the anchor. I find it brutal that the anchor like goes through Snorkel. It must be pretty painful getting saved from this situation. Anyway, head back down there, grab the Jiggy by swimming downwards into that. You want to go out into this section, you want to grab the Jinjo there. and then swim down through here. There'll be a honeycomb in this room. So to get the honeycomb, go out across here, hit the switch to spawn the honeycomb in, jump back around, get the fly pad, jump up to the honeycomb, and we're done. Alright, now we're going to head out of this section. There's a little exit there too. Here, we're going to grab the acid note things, and then grab the notes around this section. And then we're going to actually go up onto the Rusty Bucket Bay ship. So 5 notes in here plus a token. 4 notes in here plus a token. There's also a picture of Clanker in this room, kind of a cool Easter egg. I think it's in this room, it's in one of the rooms. Witch switch. Oh, now that witch switch, I had so much trouble getting it as a kid, because like I couldn't make the jump across from the crane bit to where the witch switch actually is. Don't try and make this jump by jumping and fluttering across. Do it in Talon Trot and then peck out of your Talon Trot. That will help your jump go much further. Alright, Mumbo Token here. And you want to go into this thing and slow down the fans. So that will slow them down. Now, that switch, you can avoid hitting it ever if you're like good at getting through the fans while they're going fast. But this room's hard enough. You want to slow down the fans. Alright, 4 notes. Token. Another token. By the way, eventually you'll get into a situation where these spinning cog things are stopped when you hit the 2 switches in the engine room. So if you're struggling to get the tokens now, leave them till later. Or just skip these 2 tokens, because there's like 40 that you don't have to get in the game. Alright, the fans will slow down. 4 notes, Jiggy. Hit that switch. It's going to start a timer for these fans. Again, remember, you can pause buffer this time and just keep slamming pause on and off, and you'll get way, way, way more time to get this Jiggy. This is probably the hardest Jiggy in the game. But see how the cogs are stopped now? This is where you can get those 2 tokens if you want to. Alright, making your way up here. You can kill the jumpers prior to going into this room if you want to make it a bit easier for yourself. There's a Jiggy. You can see I still got heaps of time left. Once you got that Jiggy, swim down and get this Jinjo. I'd probably recommend breaking this into 2 swims so you don't accidentally drown. The other thing about the water in Rusty Bucket Bay is it takes your air twice as fast because it's like oily. But also, when you get onto the surface of the water, it will still continue to take air at the normal rate that you normally lose air. You normally lose air at 1 bubble every 10 seconds. But in the oily water, when you're under it, you'll lose it at 1 bubble every 5 seconds. So it's very, very dicey. Jump up onto this crane, hit the switch. Grab the notes, hit the toll 8. Now, with these little green slopey slopes, you can avoid all of these toll gates ever pressing them by jumping up onto the slopes, sort of doing like 2 real quick jump flutters, and then roll, and then high jump. And you should get up to where Banjo is now out of the water. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, Jinjo there to grab. Toll 6. Yeah, these guys spawn an extra life if you kill them all. Kind of a cool little thing, but you probably don't need extra lives at this point. If you get a game over, you just go back to the start of Lair. It's not a really big deal. Alright, that's our last Jinjo. It drops a Jiggy there. Jumping across. By the way, if you're having trouble with the fan Jiggy in this level, like the engine room thing, there's something called window clip that you can look into. I won't talk about it in this video because it's like a glitch thing that makes the Jiggy a bit easier, but you can do some Googling on window clip engine room if you want a slightly easy way to do it. Although pause buffering the time is probably a more realistic way to do it, a lot easier than window clip. There's a stop and swap egg on the bed. That will only spawn if you've entered the cheat code for it. Alright, Mumbo Token up on the top of this chimney, and the other chimney has a Jiggy on top of it. Alright, there's a little Jiggy there to grab another note. Go through here. Don't let both of the sailors hit you at the same time in this room. If you do, you can crash the game. Just be aware of that. Alright, jumping out here, we're going to go into Boombox. I would recommend having a lot of gold feathers ready for this fight, if you can. It's the last Jiggy. Grab a few eggs on the way out. A lot of people think they have to use eggs on Boombox because there's heaps of eggs in the room, but you don't. I'd use peck or gold feathers if you can. Jump up here, Blue Cauldron shortcut. Jump across to the switch. That'll raise the water level. You do need that raise to progress through the rest of the game. And this is a point where if you hadn't broken that grate before, you never will be able to on your save file. Not that it's a huge deal. Grab that Jiggy. That Jiggy spawned because we hit the Witch Switch in Rusty Bucket Bay. Now, I'm going to get the optional third Cheato here. So I've just raised the water level to level 3. That is under a timer. I'm going to swim up here and go talk to Cheato. He'll give you the gold feathers cheat. That lets you hold 20 gold feathers. Eggs you never really run out of, but red feathers and gold feathers could be worth entering the cheat. It gives you twice as much carrying capacity. Go through this note door. Go through here. Jump up on the leaves. There's another Mumbo token here through this red tunnel. Just grab that. And spawn the Click Clock Wood Jiggy podium. So, yeah, this Jiggy podium's a bit weird. Like, you might have come across this area earlier in the game if you're exploring, but basically it's near where Treasure Trove Cove was. We're going to get the Clanker's Witch Switch puzzle bit here. And with the Click Clock Wood bit there, we're just going to go into this section and open the Click Clock Wood puzzle. There's an extra life behind that bit there. There's a Brentilda behind one of the other branches to get more answers. And there's a Mumbo token there. There we go. We'll take the Red Cauldron back. If you didn't spawn the Red Cauldron before, you can just walk down the lair to get to that Jiggy podium. But anyway, we're on to Click Clock Wood now. Hit the spring switch, and that'll open the season up for us. We're just going to head through here. There's a gold feather under that bridge. Use gold feathers to get through the snare bears. Now, with those snare bears, the back of them doesn't hurt you. It's only the front of them. So you can use that as a strategy if you want to. And that's those, like, orange, snappy enemies there. Alright, make your way up the tree. There's a token there to grab. Jump up here, hit the summer switch. Should be another token to grab further, or in Nabnut's house there, and also further up the tree. We need to break Erie's egg, so just going to go up there, ground pound that to break it. Ground pound, use that recoil to get down without taking damage. You got to poop 5 eggs into there to spawn the plant. And then there's another token to grab here. And then we make our way back through spring. Yeah, so this level's broken up into 4 seasons. There's various different things you can do in each season to get through it. Luckily, you don't really have to revisit the seasons too much apart from spring. You just do them sequentially. But yeah, it's a very hard level for that reason. Alright, token and a caterpillar there. Caterpillars are needed to feed Erie. I'll be getting all the caterpillars in this video, but I think there's a few extras. You only need 15 in total. You need 5 in summer and 10 in autumn, but be aware that any extras caterpillars that you get in summer do carry through to autumn, so it is worth just getting all the caterpillars that you can find. So I've got 3 so far. Here Gobi will appear and be upset at us. Fun little fact about Gobi there, when you ground pound him for the final time, he gets fed up and says he's off to the lava world, which isn't in this game. It was like a beta level that they never put in the game, but he shows up in the lava world in Banjo-Kazooie, which is a cool little touch. Anyway, make your way up the tree. You have to climb up the leaves rather than the normal way here to grab that Jiggy. And then we got to go across there. Now, with the Jiggy inside the house, you can get that Jiggy in summer. It's a lot easier to get it in autumn, so I'd leave that Jiggy inside the house till later. Alright, Erie's full with a caterpillar. Full down here. And into Mumbo's. Mumbo's just has a couple caterpillars and you can get, and there's a Mumbo token inside Mumbo's skull there. Mumbo token up here, and there's a Jinjo in the grass. That Jinjo is very easy to miss. Alright, into Autumn now. Autumn has lots of notes. That's what I like about Autumn. Alright, grab a gold feather. Remember with those snare bears, the back of the snare bears doesn't hurt you, it is just the front. So be aware of that as you're playing through. Notes in this one. So you'll notice I'm actually jumping onto the back of the snare bears before I start using gold feathers, and that just means I can get through them only really using one. Mumbo's has a caterpillar inside it and notes up the top. You need to go into Mumbo's in autumn to 100% this game. You don't need to go into Mumbo's in summer or winter. Unless you want to get all the tokens. Alright, Gobi, this is the bit where he says about the lava world, which is kind of cool. Caterpillar up here, Jinjo up here, move your way across, notes around. Mumbo token up on the leaves. You don't need to climb the leaves in autumn necessarily, I just did it to grab that token. See how much easier the house Jiggy is to grab in autumn, because you don't have to jump across the floors that aren't there yet. You go into this room to grab Nabnut's acorn. You don't need to talk to Nabnut before you start getting his acorn. Just go and grab all 6 of them. This acorn is notoriously difficult to grab with the hit detection and stuff. Back through Nabnut's window. There we go. Give him all 6 acorns. He'll be very thrilled. Jump up through here and we can feed Eerie for the rest of the caterpillars. There's a caterpillar behind Eerie that we can get. So you can see I got 13 there. I only needed 10, so there's some extras here. Alright, Eerie's happy with the caterpillars and goes to sleep. So we'll work our way up here. Well, I guess there's 4 extra caterpillars if you count that one. Grab the Jiggy inside the treehouse here. And a Mumbo token there. Actually, no, there's heaps of extra caterpillars. There's like 6 extra caterpillars compared to what you actually need. Alright, Jiggy on the flower. You can only grab that flower Jiggy. Well, make sure you've hit Gobi first, but you can only grab it on your way back down from the tree. We're going to go in here to visit Naughty. You need to visit Naughty in both summer and winter to 100% the game, because he's got a honeycomb in winter as well, and the Jiggy in summer, and the notes are there in both seasons. Alright. Making your way out of the ice water there. I'd make sure you have all 100 notes before you try and go into the ice water, because it's very easy to die in there. Hit the witch switch to spawn. Ice water is similar to the Rusty Bucket Bay oily water. Alright, there's Ginger on top of Mumbo's. You'll notice I didn't even bother going into Mumbo's. There's nothing in there that's worth doing in winter. The honeycomb up the top of the tree there. And inside Nabnut's there is that stop and swap egg. That'll only appear if you've entered the code for it. Ground pound recoil down the tree. Another Mumbo token there. Yeah, so you'll see, that's the last transformation in the game, and I'm going to have 41 extra tokens once I grab this one here. So yeah, lots of extra tokens, but if you wanted to get all the tokens in the game and get like max percent, you should have 41 left at the end. And that extra one is that cheeky Mad Monster Mansion one we talked about before. Bring the bee out of the level, grab that 10th Jiggy, and you should have 100% of the game now. If you want, you can check your total screen. 900 notes, 100 Jiggies, 24 honeycombs. And if you got all the Mumbo tokens, 41 spare Mumbo tokens. You'll also see the stop and swap eggs on the screen if you've 100%ed it. And there should be 6 eggs and an ice key. But traditionally 100% in this game is just Jiggies, notes, and honeycombs. It's not all the extra stuff, really. Alright, we're in Furnace Fun here. Now, go to the Joker squares. They will give you cards which you can use to skip questions. And I would skip the minigame questions, those little clock ones. And you'll see that I did use the Joker there to skip the clock ones. Just for fun, I'm actually clearing out all the squares on the board in this video, just as like extra super duper 100%. But you do not need to do that. Just make your way to the end if you can. Now, the grunty questions. This is why you are writing down the answers from Brentilda. Now, I wish I could just put a list up on screen and tell you what the answers are, but the grunty question answers change every time you play through the game, depending on your save file. It's like random which ones you actually get, so just be really aware of that. Anyway, if you do it normally, you're basically going to... Oh, I didn't do all the squares on Furnace Fun. You're going to get to the end of Furnace Fun there and go through. So, use your Joker questions to skip mini games, but do the grunty squares by writing down what Brentilda said all the way through the game. And the other answers you should be able to get just through knowing it and having played through the game. I'm sure there are lists you can Google online about what all the answers are. Now, if you're struggling with Furnace Fun, there is something called Ninpulk Skip that you can use to completely skip it. You just go to this point at the start of the board, and you try and just inch your way across the square. There's like one little pixel coordinate thing in the middle of the 2 squares where you can get into Talon Trot. So you just keep slamming C left to try and get into Talon Trot here. As soon as you see Banjo go into Talon Trot, you hit the A button to answer the death square, and you make sure you get the death square wrong. What that'll do is it'll try and kill Banjo, but it won't. And then all the walls go down. You can just jump across the board and go to the end. You don't even need to beat Furnace Fun in that case. You literally just jump straight past it. So yeah, use Nimpog Skip if you're not interested in Furnace Fun, finding it difficult or whatever. Pretty useful technique. There's another few methods to skip Furnace Fun, but Nimpog Skip's probably the easiest and most straightforward one. Anyway, once you're done Furnace Fun, whatever way you want to do it, you'll look at the fake credits here. Also, I find it very brutal that Mumbo is barbecuing Royston from the second game there. It's pretty rough. Anyway, basically, you just go through this little bit here, and then Banjo runs back to the lair. Now, I will note that if you entered 3 cheats and Grunty was saying she was going to delete your save file and then play all of Furnace Fun, your file's actually deleted at this point when you get back to it. So it's pretty brutal. But anyway, go through here, open the 810 note door. Open door of Grunty. You should have 6 G's left if you've 100% of the game. Open all these note doors. These will restore your eggs, feathers, and gold feathers. Then the last door that you open is for the extra honeycombs. So put this in. You should have 2 Jiggies left. As a kid, we had so many rumors about what those last 2 Jiggies are for. It was lots of fun. But basically, you should have red honeycombs, and basically that'll give you 16 health all up. If you view totals, your 100% should look like this. You should also have stop and swaps at the end. So 100 G's, 900 notes, 24 honeycombs if you've done it. Alright, now we get into the Grunty fight. So there's some techniques to Grunty. Let her attack you and then basically just peck her when she does it. If you're able to time it, you can poop a whole bunch of eggs at her and get all of these peck hits in one go, like all 4 of the hits. But you can do all 4 of Grunty's hits there with her coming at you. Then she's going to go up here. And you're going to shoot eggs at her. And then keep following her around. You really want to try and get here quickly so that you're not letting her start shooting fireballs. Because as soon as she starts, it makes it difficult. He beak bomb her 4 times. And the golden rule, never beak bomb down. Always beak bomb horizontally or up towards Grunty. If you beak bomb down, you will most likely just hit the ground, tumble off, and die. Alright, hit the Ginger statues. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. They just all take 3 eggs each to hit. Just like so. And then you just run away from the fireballs. Now, Grunty's fireballs will follow you whatever direction you're going in this fight. So the easiest way to avoid them is just by running in zigzags like I'm doing here, or running in circles. If you're running in circles, the tangent to the circle is always like linear, pointing away from the circle. So like the fireballs will never hit you if you just keep running in circles like that. With her green fireballs that she shoots at you, they will never miss. So you need to either gold feather or do the ground pound recoil trick to avoid those. Anyway, you get to the Ginginator statue here. 5 eggs in each hole, and then you've beaten the game. There we go. So the whole ending cutscene will play out. Grunty will fall off the tower. A little cool Easter egg after she's fallen off the tower. If you... she falls off and gets buried by a boulder in Spiral Mountain. If you go and revisit Spiral Mountain at this point, you can actually see the boulder and walk on it and stuff. It's really, really cool to see. You'll get an ending cutscene in this game, and Mumbo will want to show you pictures of Stop and Swap. So this is the only difference between any percent and 100% of this game is whether or not Mumbo shows you these pictures, and he basically only does show these pictures if you have all 100 Jiggies. So yeah, just keep that in mind there. Anyway, that's going to be all for this video. I hope you found this guide useful, and thank you so much for watching.